Time is passing away until we surely receive the next big phone from Samsung, the Galaxy S25. The company's next flagship phones are guaranteed to be among of the greatest phones when they come out, but we're still a little ways away from it. Naturally, we anticipate the Galaxy S25 to make all the required incremental improvements to keep a spot amongst the greatest Android phones out there. And considering how all the Galaxy AI features that accompany the S24, it's very guaranteed that Samsung will follow up with additional enticing features driven by artificial intelligence with the Galaxy S25. Leaks have steadily been growing to provide us indications and thoughts on what to anticipate with the Galaxy S25 so much, so that we've highlighted what we'd love to see with the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Here's everything we know so far about the S25, Galaxy S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra. Historically speaking, Samsung normally launches its flagship series early in the year, usually in January or February. The S24 was introduced at Galaxy Unpacked on January 17, 2024, and launched on January 31, 2024. Knowing that, we think that the Galaxy S25's announcement and release would line up near to those anniversaries in 2025. Samsung actually brought up the Galaxy S24's announcement a week earlier than the previous Galaxy S23, so it'll be intriguing if Samsung will move it up again for the Galaxy S25. If that ends up occurring, it might be conflicting with its other announcements for CES 2025. We're hoping that there's not much change to the Galaxy S25's pricing. Samsung announced the Vanilla S24, the Plus, and the Ultra for $799, $999, and $1,299 respectively, with the S24 Ultra being the only one to see its price rise from the preceding year. Since Apple didn't raise the price of its iPhone 16 series, it's less probable for Samsung to boost its pricing. That said, a leaker thinks the price of the Galaxy S25 is going up, partly due to the expense of Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 CPUs, which are anticipated to power certain variants. Worryingly, analyst Ming-Chi Kuo supports that assessment, saying that the 3M technology to be employed for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is a pricey one. We're still a ways off from the Galaxy S25 debut, so things might change between now and then, but this is a claim worth keeping a watch on. One quick method Samsung may change things up with the design of the Galaxy S25 is expanding the size of its display. Known leaker Yugs 1122 believes the Galaxy S25 screen would expand from the Galaxy S24 6.2 inches to a little bigger 6.36 inches, which would practically equal the expected increased display size of the iPhone 16 Pro. We anticipate that the phone itself would be a bit bigger than its predecessor, largely to accommodate the larger screen since Samsung trimmed down the S24's bezels over the S23. But to make the phone comfortable to hold, Samsung may be making at least the Ultra model rounder on the rear to let it sit in your palm. Aside from the Galaxy S25 possibly gaining a bigger display, the remainder of the design should be a similar one. Meaning, both the S25 and S25 Plus should be riding the same armor aluminum frame, but the titanium frame should still be limited to the S25 Ultra. But there's still plenty of time for things to alter as fresh leaks come along. We've glimpsed a probable design for the Galaxy S25 Ultra due to a rumor-based render. It's familiar-looking enough and still looks to come with a built-in S Pen, but it indicates, as we've heard previously, that the edges are rounder than previous Ultra Galaxies, and the display bigger, giving it quite a distinct design. As for their screens, Samsung clearly made a point of noting how all three models of the Galaxy S24 boast 2600 nit displays. Although in our own benchmark testing, none of them came close to meeting those promises, but it won't stop the firm from upgrading this one specific function with the Galaxy S25. More significantly, however, Samsung can't afford to have another display problem like the mirror effect on the Galaxy S24 that generates a clouding impression when the panel's brightness is set to a low level. We checked this out ourselves with the Galaxy S24 Plus and S24 Ultra, ensuring that both phones generated the mirror effect. One of the early Galaxy S25 leaks suggests a greater speed improvement, courtesy of Qualcomm's latest processor. It's believed that the Galaxy S25 will be powered by a Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 processor, which is projected to hit a new frontier by achieving a clock speed of 4 GHz, or perhaps 4.26 GHz. This would be uncharted ground, and one that might offer the Galaxy S25 an advantage over its competition, especially owing to Qualcomm apparently transitioning to a 3nm manufacturing process with its next-gen processor. While one report said Samsung will resort to the Exynos 2500 as its system-on-chip solely, and others have asserted that Samsung wants to employ both the Exynos 2500 and Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 in the Galaxy S25. A fresh rumor has arisen concerning Samsung's chip ambitions. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo thinks the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 will be the sole choice for any Galaxy S25 variant. Hence, the rise in price Kuo was referring about. Still another report, this one out of Korea, expects Samsung to sign an agreement with MediaTek to provide chipsets for certain of its S25 devices. And early leaked performance benchmarks running on the Galaxy S25 hit scores of 3,236 and 10,049 correspondingly on Geekbench's 6th single and multi-core tests. But another leaked benchmark testing showed somewhat lower results of a 3,069 and 9,080, which is apparently attributed to the chip operating on a slower clock speed. As a consequence of the probable boost in computational capability with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, the Galaxy S25 may need to utilize substantially bigger batteries to provide the processor more juice. This might have additional knock-on consequences, such as a reduced total battery life compared to current models, or slower charging. Another performance improvement might be coming to the Galaxy S25 Ultra specifically, with that phone predicted to gain UFS 4.1. Most Galaxy S24 models have UFS 4.0, so the boost would be minor, but still result in a performance uplift that would aid any AI capabilities included with the next phone. And from a connection viewpoint, another huge enhancement will come to the S24 series is satellite connectivity. This would allow people to transmit communications, notably to emergency agencies when off-grid. Samsung has been practically impenetrable in the photography field with its phones, proved by the Galaxy S23 Ultra topping all other phones during 2023 in our best camera phones list. Well, things changed with the introduction of the S24 due to the contentious decision of downgrading to a 5x optical zoom camera with the S24 Ultra. We found a notable difference in our zoom test between the S24 Ultra and S23 Ultra, so Samsung has its job cut out in redeeming themselves with the S25 Ultra. So far, the early speculations paint an attractive image, an enhanced primary camera, 50 megapixels ultra-wide angle camera, up from the 12 megapixels one on the S24 Ultra, and a new telephoto camera with variable capabilities. The latter was speculated to happen with the S24 Ultra, but the S25 Ultra looks like the more suitable contender. On one side, that may indicate that we could have a variable telephoto camera that could shift to various zoom levels, but it could also be something else. Take for example the variable aperture of the latest Xiaomi 14 Ultra, which can dial down the aperture to various degrees. Zooming has always been a specialty with the Ultra, so we're really hoping Samsung delivers in this area to redeem itself. However, there's a claim that Samsung could be eliminating the 3x telephoto zoom with the S25 Ultra. This would result in a triple camera configuration, as opposed to the quadruple one the series is renowned for. Leaker Isax81 makes this assertion based on a prototype that Samsung is testing. However, leaker Ice Universe states the contrary and claims that the S25 Ultra still feature 4 camera lenses. The leaker has gone on to reveal that both the ultra-wide and secondary telephoto lenses on the Galaxy S25 Ultra are due an update, with both cameras having 50 megapixels sensors instead of the 12 megapixels and 10 megapixels sensors seen on the S24 Ultra. That assertion has been repeated by other leakers. Meanwhile, there are less reports concerning the cameras for the S25 and S25 Plus. One of the few signs of Samsung upgrading to a Sony camera sensor instead of the ISOCELL sensor used earlier. However, a leaker dubbed the Galaxy believes neither the S25 nor the S25 Plus will benefit from a megapixel or layout modification to their cameras. Samsung has unveiled new camera sensors, and we think that one, the 50 megapixels ISOCELL G and J, would make its way into the S25 models given the sensor is around the same size as the one in the S24 and S24 Plus. The lens offers both an anti-refractive layer and pixel isolation, which should increase light capture, minimize reflections, produce more realistic shadows, and improve color reproduction. Whatever ends up coming to actuality, Samsung can't afford to come up short against the reigning monarch in our best camera phones, ranking the iPhone 16 Pro Max. That's because in our iPhone 16 Pro Max versus Galaxy S24 Ultra picture shootout, Apple's latest flagship trumps Samsung. The S25 has the possibility of shattering records, particularly if the power efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 proves out to be genuine. All three variants of the S24 easily claim much improved battery life than its predecessor, and with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 supposedly being developed with a 3nm manufacturing method, the S25 might deliver higher durability. At the absolute least, we anticipate the S25 to sport the same battery capacity as the S24. There have been speculations for a time now about Samsung adopting stacked batteries in its flagship series, but there's no convincing proof we'll receive them yet with the S25. Meanwhile, many rumors suggest that Samsung will still go with a 5000 mAh battery for the S25 Ultra. One area that surely needs improving would be the charging capacity of the phone. Samsung has preserved the same 25-watt wired charging speed with the Galaxy S24, thus it would be a fantastic boost if the S25 could receive an update. That's because both the S24 Plus and S24 Ultra support 45-watt wired charging rates. But there's even more room to enhance charging as a whole, with the whole S25 series, since the OnePlus 12 is evidence that you can get a completely charged phone with 30 minutes of charging. And lastly, Samsung will also need to enhance the wireless charging speed in the Galaxy S25 range, since it's been restricted to 15-watt wireless charging as far back as the S9. An update is long needed at this time, especially so considering the OnePlus 12 flaunts a preposterous 50W wireless charging speed. After launching a handful of Galaxy AI capabilities with the S24, Samsung will have to come up with even more on the Galaxy S25. We've checked out several of the Galaxy AI capabilities, such instant slow-mo, generative edit, and voice recorder summaries, confirming that many of them have practical uses. Others, however, remain hover that narrow edge of being original. There haven't been any leaks on what new Galaxy AI features we may see come with the S25. However, a Samsung official did highlight the prospect of combining the Bixby personal assistant with generative AI capabilities. However, the issue in everyone's mind is how long they'll stay unique to the Galaxy S25 or handed down to earlier models. That's because many of the heretofore exclusive Galaxy AI capabilities of the S24 are coming to earlier Samsung phones via a software update. Samsung has a major hurdle ahead of them with the Galaxy S25. There's undoubtedly greater pressure for its flagship phones, since if you pull the processing speed and battery life of the Galaxy S24 out of the equation, the gains are minimal at best, more so when the same Galaxy AI capabilities have been trickling down to the S23. There's even more necessity to have substantial advancements with the S25 cameras and charging speeds. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.